What's going on, Assassins? It's Darkstrider, and since my last video, I've had a couple of people come up and say, Darkstrider, what does the supernatural and magic have to do with Assassin's Creed? Why can't we just accept that magic and ghosts exist? Why are you making a big deal about this? Why are you questioning it? Why are you saying that it has to be represented or explained by Pieces of Eden? Well, I'll tell you why. It will set a really horrific precedence if we don't explain it as Isu Tech. So in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you fought the Minotaur, you fought the Gorgon, you fought the Sphinx, and you fought two Cyclops. And it was explained at each point, except for one Cyclops, that they had become these mystical, legendary creatures based on Pieces of Eden, which makes sense. You know, Isu Tech turned them into creatures, turned them into their wildest desires, their need to be so powerful, and that's where our legend started. Same thing in Assassin's Creed Origins. They didn't actually have the gods, and the gods that you fight in Assassin's Creed Origins every week are actually glitches in the Animus. So Bayek is not really fighting them. Layla is fighting them because they're glitches for some reason. And the reason was they were supposed to be Juno fights in reality. That's where it started. And for some reason, like I've said in previous videos, they've killed off Juno in the comics by Desmond's son, who we don't see in the Assassin's Creed series. But nevertheless, they made that a canon event, so they decided to just have, Bayek fight the gods of legend, of myth. So, things like that get crazy, and they are easily explained because of Isu Tech, because of technology. Like I said in the last video, we also had the explanation that Adam and Eve were not the first humans. They were, in reality, the first people to escape the Eden facility, which was an Isu facility. And the apple was not the apple of Eden. It was a piece of Eden that they had stolen. And of course, from word of mouth, held down, things get changed. It's like a real life historical game of telephone where details get swapped out and we learn different things than what actually happened. Events were much different, but we take them as face value that, yes, they were the first people on Earth and they were kicked out of the Garden of Eden and they had the apple, which the Piece of Eden does have immense knowledge. And, it makes sense. So, not to say, and I'm not crapping on your religion if you believe in anything. I'm just saying that for this universe, for this IP, this is the lore that they've established. So that everything makes sense, everything is a mystery, everything is a conspiracy. Now, we never dealt with ghosts. When we did deal with quote-unquote ghosts, they were not actual spirits. There were people behind it that were acting up, that were there to scare whatever. It happened in Origins, it happened in Odyssey. I believe it also happened in Valhalla, but there were no actual supernatural forces. Now, in Shadows, we have supernatural forces. Mirage, you could say, had supernatural forces, but Mirage was really Basim coming to terms with himself being Loki. And there was a whole lot of stuff going on there where his fellow thief, who he saw, nobody else knew of this person's existence. And it makes sense from a mental perspective where his mind was sort of shattered and trying to fix itself. So that makes sense. In Assassin's Creed Shadows, we have ghosts. they are unexplained. In Hex, we have magic. I don't know if they'll explain it yet, but I'm hoping that they explain it with the Piece of Eden. Now, why do I care so much? Again, this opens the door to just anything goes. If there are ghosts, if there is magic, and it is real, and it is not the effects of the Isu, or that you are a descendant of the Isu like Cassandra, who literally had powers and abilities like she could jump off buildings and stuff like that, long before she took the Staff of Hermes and had extended life. If you take stuff like that and you don't explain it, you are willing to just throw anything out there. Present day, they no longer need an animus. They could just travel back in time. They could just, just magically, you sit down, you just feel like going back in time, and you go back in time. Originally, Desmond was supposed to be able to like sit down, meditate, and just go back into the memories of his ancestors and relive it without the need for the animus. That's what they were going with before Assassin's Creed 3, where they killed him off. Now, that would have made sense, but physically, just anytime you want, just going back in time, that's kind of crazy. You also can just have other mythologies happen. You could just have the gods be real. You could have Mount Olympus be real. And that doesn't make sense in this world, in this canon, in what they started. You could just make anything for any reason and not explain it. It just happens. What if out of nowhere, we decided that Noe or Yasuke are still alive today, just by sheer will, not by any artifact, by sheer will? You could do that. And yes, these examples sound stupid, but again, you got to remember, everything was kind of structured, even them going back in time. Them jumping into the Animus, there was a need in the present day for them to search for something in the past. So they uncovered a ancestor or a memory of somebody who lived during that time, and they're reliving their lives. They're looking at things through their lens. And it makes sense. The gods, the mystical parts of Odyssey, that was all explained. It was Pieces of Eden that caused it. All right? What is to stop you from making these grandiose, crazy, lost the plot leaps and jumping the shark in this IP, if it's not following its own rules that it started structurally years and years ago when they came out with it the first time? Everything has a purpose. Everything has a reason. The history is not factual. It's fictional. It's real history, but they put their spin on it, and that's what made it Assassin's Creed. If we do not explain magic and ghosts by Pieces of Eden, then we are entirely losing the plot. It's going to be really bad. We'll have ghosts and magic no matter what. We'll have magicians. We'll have sorcery. We'll have people that could just open portals to other dimensions. And then what do? Are you going to play an Assassin's Creed game where you go from this dimension to an alternate dimension where, dinosaurs evolved, not humans? Or where everybody is a werewolf? Or where everybody is whatever? If you are not willing to go by the rules of what you started with, you're about to kill the series if you go into this territory where you're just making stuff up as you go along. All right? A werewolf, it came out of nowhere. Where'd that werewolf come from? Was it a Piece of Eden? No, the dude was just a werewolf. Vampires could exist. Why would the vampire exist? There's no such thing as vampires. Oh, yep, now there are. Guess what? But where have they been? We haven't seen them in the past. Oh, yep. Now we're going to explore that. Now we're going to go into the past and totally retcon everything that we've started with and make it worse. There were some retcons that they did, such as Darius, such as Amunet. They kind of explained that in Origins. Darius was supposed to be the first assassin. So in Origins, they said, nah, we're the first assassins. And I did a video on that. I'll put a link in the description below for that as well. But I'm telling you, if you don't follow your own rules and you keep changing your rules as you go along, you're going to kill the series off. And nothing is going to make sense. And that's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm fearful of. All right? I didn't care that, the history was altered because it's like it could be. It could be. And honestly, ghosts, goblins, werewolves, vampires, alternate dimensions, that could all be possible as well. But why didn't you start with that? Why didn't you drop hints of that throughout the series? Especially in the beginning. You're already, over 10 games in, and now you're going to say that there's ghouls and ghosts and magic? It's kind of a slap in the face. You got used to the whole sci-fi element, and now you change it up. Anyway, what are your thoughts? What do you think of all this? I'd love to hear it. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure you like and subscribe. It helps this channel out an awful lot. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. And until next time, take care, be good, stay safe, take care of each other. I'll see you guys all in the next one.
Yah yee!